Prune Lavender like a pro. Secrets to healthier, bushier, and more fragrant plants. Hello friends of earthly delights. Have you ever walked through your garden or past your balcony planters and felt a mix of pride and worry? You love your plants, especially lavender, for their calming scent, their graceful blooms, and that touch of magic they bring to your home. But maybe, deep down, you've wondered, am I really giving them what they need? If you're here, chances are you're the kind of person who talks to your plants, who checks the soil with your fingertips, and who feels a quiet joy when new buds appear. You might be someone with a sunny balcony filled with pots, a small backyard oasis, or even just a single lavender in your windowsill that you treasure like a friend. Yet despite your care, maybe your lavender looks tired, stems drooping, blooms fading faster than you hoped. Here's the truth. Your lavender is waiting for you to unlock its full potential. And today, I'm going to show you how. Over the years, I've learned that pruning isn't just cutting, it's a conversation between you and your plant. A moment where you give it a fresh start. So stay with me from beginning to end, because this isn't just a tutorial. It's a journey to transform the way you see and care for your lavender. Together, we'll break the fear of cutting back and turn it into confidence. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of plant lovers. Here on Earthly Delights, every tip, every story, and every bloom is shared to help you grow. Not just your plants, but your passion for them. 1. Getting to know your lavender. Meet the plant before the shears. Now that we've set the stage, let's slow down and really meet your lavender. Before any pruning begins, you need to understand who you're caring for. Lavender isn't just a pretty plant, it's a survivor, an evergreen friend that thrives in the right conditions and struggles quietly when neglected. You see, there are many faces of lavender. Some of you may have English lavender with its sweet fragrance and classic purple spikes that can withstand colder climates. Others might be tending to French lavender with its softer leaves and love for warmth, or Spanish lavender, the one with playful, rabbit ear blooms that demand a gentler touch. And if you have lavandin, a hybrid, you've probably noticed how fast it grows and how many stems it gives you for crafting and bouquets. Why does this matter? Because knowing your variety helps you understand its needs, its rhythm of growth, its bloom time, and how boldly you can prune. A plant in the wrong climate or light may grow leggy or bloom less. And this is where your keen eye as a gardener comes in. Think about where your lavender lives right now. Is it basking in sunlight? Does it get airflow, or is it cramped in a corner? Whether it's in a garden bed, a balcony pot, or right by your kitchen window, the environment shapes how it behaves. Stay tuned, because as we move forward, you'll discover not just when to prune, but how to read your plant's signals like an expert. This knowledge is the foundation of everything to come. 2. Why lavender loves a bold cut. The secret power of pruning. Now that you've met your lavender, it's time to uncover why this plant actually wants you to prune it. Many gardeners hesitate with the shears, afraid they might hurt their plant. But here's the truth. Lavender thrives on what I like to call tough love. When you prune, you're not taking something away, you're giving your plant a gift. Each cut signals the plant to push energy back into its roots, strengthening the entire system. This renewed energy means more flowers, richer fragrance, and a plant that stands tall instead of flopping to the ground. Pruning also improves airflow, keeping disease and fungus away, especially in humid spaces where lavender can easily struggle. Think of it this way. Left unpruned, lavender grows tired. The stems stretch out, becoming thin and leggy, and over time they harden into woody bases where new growth simply refuses to sprout. It's like the plant builds walls against itself. But when you step in with a careful hand, you break down those barriers and encourage lush, vibrant regrowth. So as you prepare to prune, remember this: your plant isn't fragile, it's resilient. It doesn't fear the cut, it needs it. And with every trim, you're shaping not just the plant, but its future. Up next, we'll talk about timing, because knowing when to make that cut is just as important as how. 3. Choosing the perfect moment. When your lavender wants the shears most, timing, my friend, is everything. You can have the sharpest tools and the bravest heart, but if you cut at the wrong time, your lavender won't respond the way you hope. The plant has its own rhythm, and when you understand it, pruning becomes almost effortless. For most gardeners, late summer to early fall is a golden window. This is when the blooms have faded and the plant is storing energy in its roots to prepare for winter. Cutting during this period, at least 6 weeks before your first frost, helps your lavender stay strong through the cold months. If you're in a cooler climate where winters bite hard, you may want to hold off and prune in early to mid-spring instead, right when you see fresh green buds swelling along the stems. And let's not forget midsummer. For those who harvest lavender for drying, this can be the perfect time to combine pruning with gathering fragrant bundles. The plant doesn't mind. It actually loves that you're keeping it neat while enjoying its blooms. Take a moment to think about where you live. A warm Mediterranean zone, a breezy backyard, or perhaps a chilly northern garden? Each space tells its own story, and your lavender listens to the climate around it. Watch for signs, track your frost dates, and mark your calendar. Because when you get the timing right, your plant will reward you with strength and beauty like never before. And as we move forward, I'll show you how to listen even closer, reading the signals your lavender gives when it's quietly asking for help. 4. Listening to your lavender. How to spot the silent cries for help. Now that you know when to step in, let's talk about something even more powerful: noticing the little signs before your lavender begins to struggle. Plants may not speak with words, but they communicate through every leaf, every stem, and every bloom. You just have to learn to listen. Start by observing the shape. Is your lavender standing upright, or are the stems beginning to sprawl outward, almost like tired arms reaching for the ground? That's its first whisper, telling you it's getting leggy and losing strength. Look closely at the base. Do you see patches of hard brown wood with no new shoots? That's a louder call, warning you that it's building a barrier where fresh growth won't appear. The flowers tell their story too. Smaller blooms, fewer spikes, and a dull fragrance are all signs that your plant is putting more energy into survival than thriving. Even the leaves can hint at trouble. Faded color or thinning foliage often means the lower stems are starving for sunlight. Take a walk through your garden, or run your fingers along the stems in your pots. Listen, because these small signals, if caught early, mean you can prune in time to save your plant from years of slow decline. And that's exactly what we'll move into next: how to prepare yourself and your tools for pruning the right way, so every cut you make brings your lavender back to life. 5. Preparing for success. The tools and mindset you need before pruning. Before we make the first cut, let's pause and get ready. Pruning isn't just about grabbing scissors and snipping away. It's about preparation, both with your tools and your mindset. A well-prepared gardener sets the stage for healthy, vibrant regrowth. Start by choosing the right tools. A pair of sharp bypass pruners is your best friend for precision cuts, while garden snips work beautifully for smaller stems. If you're tackling several large plants, hedge shears can save you time. Don't forget your gloves. Lavender stems may look soft, but they can scratch, especially when you're working deep inside the plant. And here's a step many skip. Clean your tools with a simple alcohol wipe. This small act prevents diseases from spreading silently from plant to plant. Now let's talk mindset. Too many gardeners hesitate, trimming too lightly out of fear. But lavender thrives on confidence. When you approach pruning with the belief that every cut is helping, you'll cut with purpose. Remember, we're not hacking, we're shaping, guiding, and giving the plant room to breathe. Take a breath. Step back and visualize what you want your lavender to become. A healthy dome, full of life and ready to burst with blooms. Because in the next part, we'll dive into the heart of it all. The simple, step-by-step method to prune like an expert and bring out the very best in your lavender. 6. The heart of the process. Mastering the simple 3-step pruning method. Now we've arrived at the part you've been waiting for, the actual pruning. This is where fear melts away and confidence takes over, because once you see how simple it can be, you'll never hesitate again. Step 1 is all about clearing the old. Start by removing the spent flower spikes, those dried blooms that have given their show and are now holding the plant back. Hold a small bundle in one hand and snip cleanly with the other. It's that easy. This first sweep opens up the plant, letting you see where new life is waiting to emerge. Step 2 is finding the safe zone. Look down the stems until you reach that soft green-gray tissue just above the woody base. This is where the magic happens. Make your cuts 1 to 3 inches above that point. Never cut into the old hardened wood. It won't grow back from there. Instead, stay in the living green, where buds are ready to respond with fresh growth. Finally, step 3 is shaping. Aim for a gentle dome, slightly higher in the center and lower along the edges. Don't chase perfection. Plants in nature aren't perfect spheres, and yours doesn't need to be either. Focus on balance and airflow, and the plant will do the rest. As you step back and admire your work, you'll see a lavender that's ready to renew itself. But what if your plant is already old, woody, and overgrown? Don't worry. In the next part, we'll talk about rescuing even the most stubborn lavender, giving it a second chance to thrive. 7. Bringing back the old ones. How to rescue overgrown woody lavender force. So what if your lavender has already gone too far? Stems hardened like tiny tree trunks, flowers sparse, and the plant spreading out like it's given up? Don't lose hope. Even the most tired woody lavender can often be coaxed back to life with patience and the right approach. The secret is not to rush. Unlike young plants, older lavender needs a gentler, staged recovery. In the first season, focus on removing only about 1/3 of the oldest, woodiest stems. Cut them low, close to the base, but never into the bare wood. This will open up the plant and encourage new shoots to emerge from the younger growth. Resist the urge to cut it all back at once. It's too much stress, and the plant may not recover. Come back the next season and repeat the process, gradually shaping the plant while giving it time to rebuild. With each year, you'll notice more green shoots, tighter foliage, and the return of those beloved blooms. Think of it like teaching an old friend to dance again. Slow steps, steady rhythm, and soon they're moving with grace once more. I've seen lavender that looked hopeless spring back with this method, and yours can too. So don't give up, give it time. And for those of you growing lavender in pots or indoors, you'll need to adjust this approach slightly. That's exactly what we'll explore in the next part, because container lavender has its own little secrets. 8. Caring for potted lavender, the special touch for indoor and balcony plants. Now, let's step into a space many of you know well, your balcony, windowsill, or cozy corner where a pot of lavender greets you every day. Caring for lavender in containers is a little different, but with the right touch, it can thrive just as beautifully as in a garden bed. The first key is light. Indoor lavender craves as much sunlight as you can give it, ideally 6 or more hours a day. Place it by a south-facing window, or if sunlight is scarce, supplement with a grow light to keep its energy strong. Outdoors on a balcony, make sure the pot gets good airflow. Stagnant air can invite mildew and weaken the plant. Soil also matters. Use a mix that drains quickly. Think loam with added sand or perlite. Lavender hates sitting in wet soil, so choose a pot with proper drainage holes and never let water pool at the bottom. Between waterings, let the top few inches dry out to protect the roots. When it comes to pruning, potted lavender enjoys the same care as its garden cousins, but benefits from a few light trims throughout the growing season. Snip away faded blooms and shape gently. Then once a year, give it that bold cut we've talked about to keep it healthy and compact. Caring for lavender in pots can feel like tending to a close companion. It's always right there with you, responding quickly to your care. And after pruning, how you nurture it makes all the difference. Up next, I'll guide you through the aftercare rituals that will ensure your lavender bounces back stronger than ever. 9. Nurturing after the cut. How to help your lavender heal and flourish. Pruning may feel like the final step, but in truth, it's just the beginning of your plant's renewal. After you've shaped your lavender, it's time to give it the care it needs to recover and thrive. Think of this stage as a gentle hug after the bold cut, a way to reassure the plant that it's safe to grow again. Start by watering wisely. Right after pruning, give your lavender a light drink to settle the soil, then return to its usual routine. Soak deeply and let the top layer dry completely before the next watering. Too much moisture is the quickest way to weaken its roots, so less is often more. Feeding comes next. Lavender doesn't crave rich, heavy fertilizer. It actually prefers lean conditions. Sprinkle a slow-release organic fertilizer around the outer edge of the plant, where the roots will reach over time. This quiet boost will keep it strong without forcing soft, weak growth. If you live in a cooler climate, protect your plant as winter approaches. A thin layer of gravel mulch can shield the roots while allowing air to circulate, keeping rot at bay. For potted lavender, simply move it to a sheltered spot, away from harsh winds. With this care, you'll soon notice tiny shoots bursting with life, proof that your plant is responding to your effort. And as it begins to flourish, there's one more exciting thing you can do with those fresh cuttings you've gathered. Turn them into something beautiful. That's exactly where we're heading next. 10. From cuttings to creations. Making the most of what you prune. By now, you've shaped your lavender and set it on the path to recovery. But what about all those fragrant cuttings lying on the ground or gathered in your basket? Don't toss them away. This is where your care turns into creativity. Those trimmed stems still hold the soothing oils and calming scent that lavender is famous for. You can tie small bundles with twine and hang them upside down in a dry, airy spot. In a week or two, they'll be perfect for making sachets, wreaths, or even adding to homemade bath salts. Every time you catch that soft aroma, you'll be reminded of the care you put into your plant. And here's something even more exciting. You can use some of those green cuttings to grow new lavender. Choose pieces that are semi-soft, not too woody, and strip the lower leaves. Dip the stem end into a bit of rooting hormone, then tuck it into a mix of sand and peat. Keep it slightly moist and wait. In just a few weeks, you might see roots forming, a tiny sign of new life ready to begin. It's amazing, isn't it? From a single pruning, you're not only renewing the plant you have, but also creating the possibility of more. And as we move into the final moments of this journey, let's bring everything together, because what you've learned isn't just about pruning, it's about confidence and connection with your garden. The final bloom, embracing your lavender journey. And here we are, at the end of our journey together. Take a moment to look at your lavender now. Whether it's freshly pruned, full of new shoots, or still waiting for its first cut. You've learned not just how to trim a plant, but how to listen to it, to understand what it needs, and to give it the care that helps it thrive. Pruning isn't just a gardening chore, it's a promise. Every snip you made today told your lavender, I believe in your future. Over time, you'll watch it respond. Stronger stems, fuller blooms, and that calming scent drifting through your garden or home once again. Remember, mistakes happen, and that's part of the beauty of gardening. Even if your lavender has seen tough times, it can still surprise you with resilience. What matters most is the connection you've built. The quiet moments, the patience, and the joy of seeing life return. So keep nurturing, keep learning, and most of all, keep enjoying every step of this journey. If this video inspired you, share it with fellow plant lovers and let them grow with us. And don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights, where we turn every leaf, every bloom, and every season into something extraordinary. Here's to your lavender. And to you.